Hey everyone, my name is Desiree Nielsen. I'm a registered dietitian, and on this episode of Live Kindly with me, we'll answer all your questions about plant-based proteins and we'll rank them. I became a vegetarian when I was a teenager, and becoming vegetarian was probably the first time in my life that I really thought about how our food choices can impact our bodies, but also others. And that whole thing is probably the reason why I'm a dietitian today. But as time went on, as I started exploring and learning more, I thought that going fully plant-based was the right choice for me, and I probably started that transition about 5 years ago. But whether you're an omnivore, vegetarian, or vegan, there are so many reasons to eat more plant proteins. There are a ton of benefits. The first is fiber. You're not going to find fiber in the animal world, and as a gut health dietitian, I am a fiber fan. We do not get enough, and eating more fiber is not only good for healthy elimination, but it feeds your gut microbiome. Plant-based proteins also have fewer saturated fats and no cholesterol, because cholesterol is only found in animal products. And because they're plants, they have a ton of antioxidant and anti-inflammatory phytochemicals that just help your cells clean up like all the regular junk from like eating, breathing, living, sleeping. And so you're gonna have a healthier body the more phytochemicals you put in that body. And then finally, plant-based proteins are sustainable. On average, plant-based proteins require less energy, less land, and less water to feed a human than animal source proteins. So it's a win-win. So for most of us, we associate the word protein with meat. All plant foods contain protein, but you've probably heard of this idea of plants being an incomplete protein. So what's that all about? Proteins are made of building blocks called amino acids, and there are 20 amino acids, but only 9 of them are essential. And when we say the word essential in nutrition, that means that you have to eat them because your body can't produce them themselves. So all plants have protein and have all of the amino acids, but there's usually 1 or 2 that is limiting, meaning that it's in a little bit less of an amount than you'd actually want to create the proteins in your body. So for most plant proteins, this is lysine, and for legumes like chickpeas and lentils, this is methionine. And I was taught in nutrition school that in order to make a complete plant protein, you have to combine 2 or more plant foods at a single meal, the kind of classic rice and beans combination. But science has actually poked some holes in this theory, because what we've learned is that your liver will store the amino acids you eat over the course of the day, and it can use them to put together all the proteins your body needs. So as long as you eat a variety of plant foods over the course of the day, you're gonna be A-okay. So let's get to ranking. We're gonna use this chart that's been going around YouTube for a while now and rank proteins as great, good, or not the best, but still tasty. First up, lentils. Lentils are one of the most wonderful plant-based proteins because a half a cup of cooked lentils has 9 grams of protein, in addition to plenty of fiber and iron. So they're a great protein in my book. But now let's talk about avocados, because I do not know where the idea that an avocado is a protein actually came into being. Tons of healthy fats, but you have to eat a whole avocado just to get 2 grams of protein. So in my book, they're not the best, but still tasty and healthy. Now let's clear the air on soy. The internet is constantly spreading lies about soy being bad for you, and that is not the case whatsoever. The evidence confirms that not only is soy nutrient dense, a half a cup of tofu has 12 grams of plant-based protein in addition to plenty of calcium and iron, but there are actually defined health benefits to consuming soy. And if you're feeding wee ones, soy milk is the only approved plant-based milk alternative because a cup has 7 grams of plant-based protein in addition to healthy fats, making it more of an equivalent to dairy milk. So soy is a great protein choice in my book. Next up, quinoa. We usually talk about quinoa as being a complete protein, meaning it's got more of those limiting amino acids like lysine than other plant proteins, but you might be surprised to know that quinoa doesn't actually have a lot of protein. A half a cup cooked is 4 grams of protein, which isn't bad, but it's not enough to anchor your plate and be the only plant protein on the plate. So in my mind, quinoa is good, but not great. Now we come to one of my favorite plant foods, kale. Plenty of vitamins and minerals like vitamin A and K, but it is not a concentrated source of protein, my friends. 3 grams of protein in a cup of chopped. So while it's not the best, it is most certainly still tasty. Next up, peanut butter. You probably think of peanut butter as a healthy fat, but you might be surprised to know just how much protein 2 tablespoons of peanut butter has. 7.5 grams of protein. So if you add it to spreaded grain bread, you've got actually a very filling, very protein-rich plant-based breakfast. So this is a good source of protein in my book. All right, the favorite breakfast of grandparents everywhere, it's oats. And oats actually have more protein than you might expect. 1 cup of cooked oats contains 7 grams of protein, which is about the same as in an egg. They also contain soluble fiber, which is really soothing to the gut. So in my book, oats are a good source of protein. One of my favorite snacks is almonds. A 1/4 cup of almonds contains about 7.5 grams of protein, which I feel is like the magic number of this episode. 7.5 grams of protein. They're also high in fiber and vitamin E to support the skin. So they are a good source of protein and a great snack. Let's talk chickpeas. Chickpeas, just like their cousin lentils, are a pulse, and they're also a great source of protein. 7.5 grams, and they're super versatile. I love making chickpea tuna. I love making chickpea eggs to put in a breakfast sandwich in the morning. So chickpeas are a great source of protein, and you should eat them more often. And finally, hemp hearts. If you're not already a fan of hemp hearts, wait till you hear just how incredibly nutrient dense they are. 3 tablespoons of hemp hearts has 10 grams of plant-based protein, plus a whole host of minerals like zinc, magnesium, and manganese that are critical on a plant-based diet. Hemp hearts are a great source of protein and worth eating more of. Now I want to show you what it looks like to put together a plant protein-packed meal. We're going to be making the edamame hula bowl from my cookbook. It's super delicious. There's lots of different flavors and textures in there, and it's filling and satisfying. Let's dive in. Whenever I'm making a nourishing plant-based bowl, I think of the plate method. You want 1/2 of a plate of fruits and vegetables, a 1/4 plate whole grain, and a 1/4 plate of proteins alongside a little bit of healthy fats. The brown rice has 2.5 grams of protein per cup. Next, we have the edamame, 11.5 grams of protein in a single 1/2 cup serving. We're doing a little bit of a tropical vibe, so I've got some pineapple, a little bit of cucumber, finally some daikon radish. You can have fun, play with the textures and flavors in your bowl. Next, we have our almond miso sauce that has 3.5 grams of plant-based protein per serving. Then, if you'd like, add a 1/2 of an avocado for 2 more grams of protein, and of course, a lot more fiber and healthy fats to help you keep full and satisfied. And this whole bowl has almost 20 grams of plant-based protein, plenty of fiber, lots of flavors to feel really good and satisfying. But if you need a little extra protein, you can always add a few sprinkles of hemp hearts. This is Desiree Nielsen for Live Kindly. What's your favorite plant-based protein, and did you learn anything new today? Be sure to share this video with friends and family who could use a few more plants in their lives. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.